What's going on, everyone? Jeff back with another video, and it's been a while. It's been several months since I've made any kind of videos really to do with the MJ sector, as the excitement surrounding this sector has really cooled off. And now these companies, many of them I can think right off the top of my head, ACB, Cron, Canopy Growth, several others, are being judged strictly off their earnings. And unfortunately, a lot of these companies are just not pumping out the revenue like we all thought they were. The development and the turnaround time is certainly taking a lot longer than we all anticipated. And I still think there is a lot of opportunity in this sector. I did move out and sell out of most all of my MJ positions over the past year. Okay, now I still have a couple of stocks in my portfolio that gives me some level of exposure to the industry. I would just say that they're a lot more responsible picks. But in today's video, I want to talk about GrowGeneration, ticker symbol GRWG. This is a stock that has really caught my attention. I'm not currently invested in it, and I don't know as though I'm going to be investing in it anytime soon, but it certainly has my attention. Back on November 25th of 2019, GrowGeneration announced that its common shares were approved for listing on the NASDAQ, and then the shares began trading on the NASDAQ on December 2nd under the same ticker the company used while trading over the counter, GRWG. So since being uplisted onto the NASDAQ, this particular stock has ran from $4, dipped down as low as $2, and since that time has seen a high of over $22 per share, now has settled itself back down to over $14 a share. And I really like this company from a speculative point of view just because I think it's very different than a lot of the services out there. They're not necessarily farming and selling marijuana and marijuana products. They sell more of the services and the equipment to do those things. So it's a very interesting company. They also show some fundamental strength. We're going to get into that in this video. Before we get started though, guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video. I appreciate all the support, and make sure to subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. Alright, now, so being this is the first video I've made on GrowGeneration, let's take a look around the website, try to get familiar with what it is exactly they do. It's an essential online, offline resource for professional growers. And GrowGeneration Corp is currently the largest hydroponic equipment supplier in the country. So let's stop right there. They aren't growing and distributing marijuana or any kind of products like that, but they sell thousands of products from organic nutrient soils, advanced lighting technology, state-of-the-art hydroponic equipment, and they carry propagation supplies, pest controls, environmental controls, ventilation solutions. So basically what GrowGeneration does is they distribute and sell anything you need for your growing operation. Now, why I'm a little bit more attracted to this company than I am a Canopy Growth or Kronos Group or even Aurora Cannabis is because their revenue is actually going to come from a different place. You could kind of look at this as strictly a retail play that's giving you some exposure to the growth of the industry. And also, this particular stock right here is not going to get the massive boost that we all seen in Tilray and Cron, all these stocks back in 2018 when they all started getting listed onto the exchange, and the stocks just run massively for weeks on end. And also too, the reason I'm probably not ready to invest, there is going to be some negatives that come with this company. We're going to get into that here in just a moment. They began in Pueblo, Colorado in 2014 with only a handful of employees. The team began opening locations in Conifer, Denver, Trinidad, and soon moved their headquarters to Denver, Colorado. This was the first phase of their expansion over the past 5 years. GrowGeneration has opened and acquired a total of 24 locations, starting in Colorado, Nevada, California, Washington, Oklahoma, Michigan, Rhode Island, Maine, and New Hampshire. So they're moving all throughout the United States right now. And I'm going to be honest with you too, before I really start getting invested in this company or I start thinking about it, I want to see some strong earnings. I want to be able to see that they can kick out the earnings and that the growth is going to be there. Even on a EPS beat and a revenue beat, sometimes that's not enough. We got to see big raises in guidance to justify big moves in stock price. So right now, while the stock has moved up so massively in the short term, I'm honestly just want to let it cool off for now, and it's probably going to trade down a bit. Couple quick things I'm going to point out. The market cap is currently at a $669 million market cap. So this is not even a $1 billion company yet, and a lot of people would feel the stock price is inflated here. They have a huge PE ratio. Then again, like I said, I don't really invest based on how high or how low a PE ratio is. A lot of people do. And like I said, those are the people that talk themselves out of buying Amazon and Netflix and Tesla stocks. Some of the highest growing companies in the world do have high PE ratios. I don't try to focus on that as much. I really try to focus on earnings and forward guidance. That's the two things I am most heavily focused on. So this really came as a surprise to me when I pulled up the stock quote and started looking at it. This is actually a profitable company. Now, not by much, only by about 1% profit, 1% operating, and return on assets, return on equity are both roughly 1%, but that is a lot better than being in the negative. As we all know, most MJ companies are heavily negative, and they're not making any type of profit. So that is a metric I really like seeing. This right here is the reason this stock made it to my watch list, is because they are showing some relative profitability. Couple other metrics I will point you to also: quarterly revenue growth 123% year over year, and the quarterly earnings growth 142% year over year. So those are all very good metrics. It makes it very redeemable, and you can kind of categorize it in, let's say, a company like IIPR, and that is a real estate company that provides real estate for cannabis companies. Okay, is that you are getting the exposure of the cannabis market and the cannabis sector without necessarily buying into a company that's trying to farm and grow and do all these type of different things, compete for price. And unfortunately, those type of companies just cannot get the numbers we are looking for as investors. We have to see a lot better numbers on earnings than what they provide. This company might be a key way to bigger and better numbers. We're just going to have to follow them and watch for a while. They're still very small, and they're still in their infancy. And back on August 13th, GrowGeneration had an earnings report, had a pretty strong, solid earnings. Stock ran 17% post-market. They reported revenue of $43.5 million, and that beat the consensus by $6.84 million. So pretty strong beat. The same store sales increased 49% to $25.1 million. So what I'm really concerned here about earnings is I want to see a couple go by. I want to see some level of consistency. That's really the problem I spotted with some of the MJ companies, is just wildly inconsistent on earnings. Now, online businesses expanded by 149%. I really like that, because anything cloud-based, anything that's making a big pivot to being online is growing right now. I think that's a good move. This company has a lot of good tools at its disposal right now. They have 167 new commercial customer accounts, and commercial division revenues rose 142%. GAAP profit surged 99% to $11.6 million. So good, strong earnings report, had a beat on EPS and a beat on revenue, but there is some negatives that come with this. Now, this is the catalyst where you started to see the stock sell off. GrowGeneration fell after Heidenberg warned on management red flags. And so Heidenberg Research put out a hit piece on GrowGeneration. They put out a very negative report saying the research firm says the euphoric retail stock may have the brightest management red flags it has ever seen. They are calling for a 60% downside in the stock, and it calls it uninvestable, saying that the stock is priced absurdly rich even under a best case scenario. This is clearly driven by retail momentum and euphoria. Goes on to say the COVID surge is not likely to be permanent. As the pandemic eases and people get back to work, we expect growth will ease. Now, this is one very negative report where a lot of Seeking Alpha and Wall Street analysts are very bullish on this company. However, it is enough for me to pull back a little bit. I don't know enough about this company, and I haven't seen their level of consistency yet. Keep going back to that word. I have not consistently see them report earnings and perform day in and day out to really know whether I should ignore this piece. For all I know, Hindenburg could have had put options on this company, and this was an artificial move down. I don't really know, but I want to keep my eyes open. It is enough for me to pull back the strings. I just honestly don't know enough and have not studied this company for a long enough period of time to make an educated decision on it. And then on Monday of this week, GrowGeneration sold off 15% after disclosure of insider sales. So CEO Darren Lampert and President Michael Salaman they terminated the 10b5-1 stock trading programs established last year in the wake of the negative Hindenburg report. Salman and Lampert sold shares last week, as well as CFO Monty Lamirato. So some of that does seem very sketchy. I'm not quite sure why you would terminate the stock trading programs, unless perhaps there is some truth to this Hindenburg report, that it is just dramatically overvalued, was kind of a product of the situation with COVID-19. Sales jumped up really high, and we're just going to have to see this company's ability to forecast earnings. And in 1 week's time is down roughly 17% from a high of up over $21. So as you can see, every trading day seems like it gets a little jolt right here at the end of the day, then sells off massively, and it even did it again today. It traded off all day long and got a nice little boost right there at the end of the day. I'm willing to bet tomorrow morning when the market opens, this stock is going to be red once again. So for now, I'm going to sit on the sidelines. I think this is a very interesting company to look at and keep on a watch list. And perhaps this might be a very good investment candidate in the short-term future. But for now, I'm just going to watch and see what happens, kind of see the coverage that comes out on it, and watch from a distance. But make sure to go down in the comments, share with me your thoughts and opinion on GrowGeneration. Do you plan on investing in this company, or have you already invested in GrowGeneration? I would be interested in hearing what you have to say about it. Please share your thoughts with me. Thank you as always for watching the video, and have a great day.